Hey guys. All right. Here, introduce yourself. Let me know. Let me know where you're from, what state you're calling from. Or not calling from, joining from. And we'll see where everybody's calling in from. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm pretty excited. I finally got my Xactimate course for level 1 certification course, prep course done, finally. It's been a long thing in the making. It's taken a long time, but what it is. Little bit of work trying to get together the course. So no, it's good. I'm glad I did it. I still have level 2 to get to, but I had some time off. I was doing the catastrophe for the last two months or so, and so my ability for doing these videos has been pretty limited, and so finally I'm just getting back to it, and now I'm happy to say that level 1 is done. So there's a link here in the chat at the top. You can purchase it from that if you'd like. And previewed a little bit as well, just a little bit for each of the 9 videos that I have for that. So make sure you leave in the chat where you're listening from, so I know how far my reach is getting to people, and say hello. I'd love to know who's here. Have any regulars back? I'd love to talk to you guys. I've reflection in my glasses, but I need my glasses because I can't read the comments. If I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to take them off for now. But anyways, yeah, hope you guys are doing good. Welcome, say hello, let me know who's here, and we can get started. Work has been rather slow for me, so it's been a nice time for me to be able to do some of the work involved with this course that I put together. And it's here to help you guys pass that daunting level 1 and level 2 Xactware exam. It is pretty tough. I've had a lot of people tell me it's been frustrating because there's not really a whole lot of courses out there that are teaching people how to prepare for this course. So I decided to pull something together. It's very detailed. Hopefully you don't fall asleep in the movies because it is very detailed. But it's there to go through every single step of the way through each of the requirements for level 1 and level 2 certification that you will need to know in order to pass that exam. And so I feel like it's a very comprehensive course, and it's good for new adjusters, it's good for old adjusters, it's good for just refreshing your memory about the program. If you feel like you're lacking in some areas, certainly can be a big refresher course for you guys as well. So now I gotta put my glasses on because I can't read comments. Hey Curtis, how's it going? Welcome back. Yeah, see, I was telling people, I said I gotta put my glasses on if I'm gonna read the comments, or I have all this glare. I have glare in my, let's see this, maybe I can get rid of that screen and get rid of this screen. There, no more glare. Okay, well good. I was looking at my big screen, and it was putting the glare on my glasses, so I thought, hey, who needs that? So make sure you guys tell me where you're watching from. I want to know where you guys are watching from, and leave a note in the comment there so that I can see what's going on. I'm trying to turn on this chat here. Virginia Beach. Yes, that's right. I'm going to remember this one day, Curtis, because you tell me this every time, but I unfortunately am not. I don't have a brilliant memory. As I get older, things definitely slip the mind a lot quicker than I want them to. It's kind of sad, but hey, that's what happens when you get old. So it is what it is. We'll with it. And it's not the end of the world, so we'll figure out how to handle it. I decided that I was going to, there, pull the chat there. That's better. You guys have any questions? Don't forget to tell me where you're from. Put a what state you're calling from in the chat, so I know where you guys are coming from. And we're going to talk a little bit of the course when we get started, when a few more people here. And we can talk about anything else, guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. We're going to try and come live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So for the poor people, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know, not as pleasant of a time for them to have to come forward. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I think it works out better for me to do it in the afternoon, just because it allows me to finish up before dinner time, and it's not a daunting thing for me to do. I was doing it a little bit later to try and accommodate for the people on the West Coast, but what it ended up doing is pushing me into my evening and then not making it very doable for my end. So I hate to say I'm being selfish, doing it for my convenience, may not be doing it for yours. But hey, you know, what do you guys do on Sunday afternoon besides watch football? I'm not a football guy, so you know, here we go. You know, I now watch some golf, love some golf, but as far as football goes, I'm not a great, you know, I'm not a big diehard fan of any sports or anything like that that have to sit in front of the tube for 3 hours in the afternoon on a Sunday. So maybe it's a problem where everybody else has got things to do rather than listen to me. Hey, Kimberly, welcome back. AD, welcome back too. All right. Yes, you get Kimberly. Thank you. Yeah, you told me, you contacted and told me that you missed it. Well, now you're here. I don't know if it's anything special, but we're here chatting about anything and everything. Today, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the prep course that I created for level 1 certification exam. And then I'm going to create a series of videos for level 2. So it's 9 videos. The link is in the description, guys. It's in a Patreon site. And the reason why I put it in Patreon, just for those who are curious, like, why didn't you put it on your YouTube? Here's bad mouthing on YouTube. They wanted to charge 30% of my membership fee to YouTube for me to post my videos on their site. I had to create a membership. And I was like, 30%? That's crazy. You didn't even create the content. You're going to charge 30% of every single person that signs up. That's highway robbery. So I went with Patreon because Patreon is 5%, and then I think PayPal charges 1% or something like that, because I use a PayPal link there to purchase. So anyways, I'm more frugal guy. I'm not going to throw away money. So that's why I chose the Patreon site, and it's really cool. You'll enjoy it. I just uploaded all the videos to Patreon. They are uploaded here to YouTube, but I'm just not showing them because they are a paid product. So it's $99 a month for you guys. There is a little bit of a fee that Apple charges if you want to buy it through Apple Pay. I don't really control it. I don't know if Google does the same thing for Android phones, but it is what it is. It's kind of like their fee for doing business. So you're going to go through their Apple Pay app. I do have a PayPal link, I believe, in there too. I don't think an extra charge on that, but I can't be 100% sure. So if anybody does purchase it, let me know any glitches that you had while purchasing it. Patreon is new to me, so I don't know if everything is set up right, but I'm hoping it is. The upload went well. Again, this course has got 9 videos. Some are over an hour long, some are just under an hour. And so you're looking at 9, I want to say 9 plus, like probably 12 plus hours of instruction for level 1 certification only. So that's about 12 hours of videos of me chatting and talking about the program. But what I wanted to do on that course, I took the syllabus from Xactware, and basically they said, this is what you need to know in level 1 certification. This is what you need to know in level 2. And I went through each line item on level 1 and basically explained everything that you need to know in that syllabus for Xactware. And then what I did was I kind of elaborated it and said, okay, well, in this situation when you're using the software, you're going to run into it at this scenario. And so there's a lot of adjusting stuff in there as well. So it's not just a level 1 course and I just teach you the software. It is actually an adjusting. It's going to teach you how to use the software, how it applies, how, you know, when you're going to use this specific button in Xactimate, and then scenarios that you might use it for. And the reason why I did this, I wanted to do it differently than what I learned. So I'm not going to badmouth anybody, but the course I took literally just taught me and processes of Xactimate. And yes, I did some extra study on the side from all the materials that Xactware gave as syllabus extras, and I was able to pass the exam, but I felt extremely stressed while I was taking it because it was a really hard exam. I didn't feel like I really learned everything that I needed to learn about the software. And how it proved to me, when my first catastrophe, I was using the software and I failed miserably, meaning I didn't know half of what I needed to know about the software and had applied while I was writing estimates, and I was really prepared. Even though I passed the level 1 and level 2 certification, I was ill prepared to write estimates because there was no practical teaching in the course that I took. So I decided to create this course to be more of an instructional, hands-on course, as well as teach about the software, so that when you watch this course, you're going to be like, wow, I know this program kind of better than I thought I would ever know. And that's because I'm going right down to the nitty-gritty. Level 1 is super basic, but then it's got a tinge of extras, and then level 2 is going to be very thorough. I'm not going to do a level 3 because honestly, I don't think I've ever used maybe 10 of the level 3 skills in my estimating, because we are doing a lot of rinse and repeat. I call that rinse and repeat estimating when it comes to being an adjuster, meaning we're going to run into the same problems almost every time we walk into a house at some point in the week or the month. They're just going to repeat themselves, meaning baseboard, drywall, paint, flooring, remove the toilet, remove the fridge, stuff like that. We're going to see the same things over and over again. A level 3 certification course is going to be more like staircases and circle windows and octagon built rooms and stuff, and just a lot of things that maybe you might get 1 or 2 of those houses in a year that you're actually having to write for. And it's not that difficult to figure out on the software once you become proficient on building walls and building rooms to be able to get an octagon room or circle staircase. They're just, you'll figure it out as you go through that these are only small details. But for me to teach a whole nother level 3 course on all these extras, I don't think it's necessary. I personally never got the certification. I don't think you need it, and no one asked for it. I do ask for the level 1 and level 2, so just keep that in mind. A lot of your firms will ask. Phil, do I believe in Jesus? Absolutely. He's my Lord and Savior. He is the reason I work. I do everything in my life. This is where you can get Xactimate for a discount. Yeah, AD. What typically happens is that when you work for a firm, and a lot of is where I went, they will offer a discount as long as you're handling claims for them. Now, you will not get a discount if you're not handling claims. I'll tell you a funny story. Oh, that really cracked me up. So on this last deployment to Florida to work Hurricane Milton, I was gone for almost 2 months. And I didn't go with the Alacrity was not offering me an opportunity to go until after I already committed to another firm to go with. So I went down with the other firm, and I'm handling claims, gone for almost 2 months. And so what happened was my Xactimate subscription ran out while I was like maybe 4 days before leaving. It needed to be renewed. So I sent in my renewal through Alacrity, and they write back and said, no, we're not renewing it because you're not handling any claims with us. And technically, I wasn't, because I was on a catastrophe, and so I wasn't handling any claims for them. I was handling for the other firm. Well, their stipulation, so the person who was trying to renew my Xactimate said, according to our policy, it said, if you haven't handled any claims in 30 days with us, then we cannot give you the discount on our software, and therefore we can't renew you. And I said, give me a break. I said, please run it up the chain to a manager, and see what happened. Well, literally 20 minutes later, I get an email from Robert Moran, which is the CEO of Alacrity, and he said, you've been approved for Xactimate being extended. And that was the case because for the last 8 years, I've been handling claims for Alacrity. And I was like, really, one month, I'm not handling claims, or 2 months, I'm not handling claims with you guys, and you're not going to give me the discount on my Xactimate? That was so lame. But hey, policies are policies, and some of the younger guys or the bottom of the toll people are just following, their protocol. And this was one of those that they were willing to put their foot down. Whereas, hey, I brought you a bunch of profit. Remember, you're getting 40% of all the claims I worked for the last 8 or 9 years. I think you can give me a little measly discount on my Xactimate for 1 month. So anyway, so that was a really frustrating thing that happens. But typically why I bring that up is that if you go with a firm and you're handling claims with them, they will allow you to get a discount. And it's pretty substantial because typical price on Xactimate's like $300, I think, and I'm getting it for like 125, I think is what the price I'm getting it for. And I think everybody gets it for the same price too. So just that's a really significant discount for Xactimate. And I'm pretty sure other carriers or firms do that as well. Don't quote me on that, but I have seen other people like Pilot, I know. But there are some other big firms that are getting discounts as well. So yes, you can get the training version, meaning you get 1 month free. And that's a great thing while you're learning Xactimate. You can learn it for free, you don't have to pay for it. And then even when you get to the end of it, you say, hey, I'm still learning or just testing out software, can you give me an extra month? They're gonna give you an extra month as well. So you can get a couple months for free, take my courses, and you can learn Xactimate, get your certification, and then you'll be ready to go. But the certification is super important. I want to tell you that when I was signing up for some of the rosters that I got on, they have a line item right on their question. They're filling out all the questions for their roster, and they say, do you have level 1 and level 2 certification for Xactimate? And if you say no, I've heard from the inside sources from the managers that say they will look over your estimate if you don't have that certification. Or not your estimate, they'll look over your resume, meaning they will not choose you until you get that updated and put into your file as skilled. And the reason being is that they know that if you don't have the skill in order to get the level 1 and level 2 certification, that you're gonna give their file reviewers a really hard time when it comes to when you've wrote an estimate. When you turn in something that's totally screwed up, and then that file reviewer is going to have to teach you all the things that you've done wrong on the program, the boxes that you don't have checked, or opening statements that haven't been uploaded correctly, or adding the claim rep correctly. I mean, there's so many things that you could do wrong. That desk adjuster or the file reviewer is not going to want to spend less time teaching you. The managers of the firm also know this is not what we want to deal with. We want somebody who knows the software. So just keep that in mind as you guys are signing up for the rosters, that they are going to be looking for that on the resume, the level 1 and level 2 certification. And the great thing is you don't have to do it. You don't ever need it again. Once you have it, put it on your resume, you're good to go. Curtis, they do not offer a demo anymore for Xactimate. Oh my goodness, really? Oh, that doesn't make sense at all. I might have to look up that. I'm not saying I don't believe you, Curtis. I just can't believe that. I wonder if they had so many people taking advantage of it that happened. Oh man, that would be terrible. That would be terrible. Yeah, let me just look it up. That's crazy. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's investigate it together. Xactimate demo. Oh, that's something else. It's not even. That's somebody trying to sell something. It's funny how when you go in and look for stuff on Google, you have to go down, get past all the stupid ads that people are paying for. You never get the right information. Is there a free trial for Xactimate? The free Xactimate demo from Xactware has been discontinued. Oh my goodness, you are so correct. However, Watermark course attendees can receive access to Xactimate training instance for up to 30 days. Watermark course. Okay, so they sell a course and they're going to give you a free 30 days and they're not even giving it to you for free because you're probably for this stupid course, way overpriced for the course. Anyways, everybody likes to throw in a little, I'll give it to you for free. No, you're not. You're going to charge us $600 for the course, and then we're going to give you, a free month, not a free month. We're going to give you a month because you already paid for it. So it's not free. You paid for it. All right, Curtis, man, you were better than I. I'm going to stop saying demo because I've been telling everybody you can get it. And meanwhile, they changed it on us. Well, I think what happened was just like what I did is I got a demo for a month and then called in and said, hey, I need an extra month so I can practice. And so I got to use the software free for a couple months while I got my certification and then wait around until I actually got work from a firm before I actually paid full price for it. And I did pay a couple months full price before I got a discount. So that's just a bummer part of doing business. So do you guys have any other questions? I don't want to spend the whole time talking about my course because I just feel like it's your choice. If you want to do it, I'm not trying to drive it down your throats. I just spent a lot of time doing it. I think it would be really helpful for those that are looking to get certification. So it's $99. You get to watch all the 9 videos as many times as you want for 1 month. And then it renews every month after that. So even if you were to go out and buy some of these other similar courses that are out there, they're about $400 for level 1 and level 2. And I'm basically offering it for $200. So if you do it in 1 month for level 1 and 1 month for level 2, you're only paying $200. So, and what I'm doing, I'm trying to encourage you guys to be more proactive and get in the mode of the self-employment mentality, which is very driven, very focused, and very concentrated. And then what you do is it'll set you the mindset for how this work is all the time in the future. Is you've got to be driven. You're representing yourself. You're trying to create a business. And you're trying to create a successful business where people are going to hire you and keep using you. And if you have kind of a haphazard mentality, like I'll get to it, or I'm just hanging out, you're going to fail as an adjuster as you're independent because you'd be more self-motivated and more driven. So Curtis, we'll be able to go through the course pretty good without having access to the software. No, I don't think you will, because the course is going to refer to the software. Pretty much, I'm leaving that screen open and talking about the software the whole time. I don't think you can open the software unless you have an active subscription. It just doesn't give you access to it. What happened when we had the demo version is they would allow you to open it, but you couldn't download or upload anything. So it's basically a local program, but you were never allowed to upload or download anything. You couldn't receive assignments, you couldn't send assignments, so it's basically a dead copy. But it was a working version on your desktop, whereas now everything is cloud. And I think that's probably why they went away from the free demo, is now it's all cloud-based. So, hey Peyton, how's it going? Good afternoon to you as well. Thanks for joining. All right, you guys got any other questions? Anything, it could be anything. We don't just have to talk about the certification class, but that is what's been on my mind primarily at this point, is just putting out videos. I feel like I'm Xactimate inside and backwards and upside down and inside out, now that I've been talking about it for forever, creating these movies. And now I'll go level 2 and do the same thing and just create all that. I think there's a little more, it's a little more in depth than level 2. Let's see what I've got for level 2, how many videos I think I'll have. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Feel free to ask any questions while I'm searching here. Midland, very good. Texas. I lived in Sugarland, Texas, for just south of Sugarland for about 5 years. So really likes this. Yeah, so it's showing, based on the information, I'm gonna have about 15 videos, 14 or 15 videos for level 2, whereas I think there was originally 10 for level 1, and I condensed one of them into 2 videos, so I have 9 videos, and they're all about an hour. Some are and a half, some are a little bit less. Oh, you were rich when you lived in Sugarland. And it's funny everybody says that, but this was years ago. Years ago. That was 2010, okay? And Sugarland was not up and coming super rich. I mean, it was a nice place, but you could buy a house for $250,000 there in a heartbeat. And now I don't think you can touch a house for $400 there. I mean, totally. The pricing has gone through the roof, and that's that's the part of the fact that it's just a nice place to live. There's lots of new construction all the time. The highway's amazing. Their system of getting around. They have feeder roads that go beside main highways. So you got all your main highways zipping down and go 80 miles an hour. You jump off on a feeder road, go down to a 2-lane road, 45 miles an hour, and all your shops, stores, and gas stations and all that stuff are down there. And then you just jump back on the highway, and away you go. But here's the thing, the highway, everybody's driving 80 miles an hour, fast as you can get down there. And the feeder roads have lots of smooth off ramps, and they don't slow down the highways. So I think their whole system of getting people around that place is just, the Houston area, it's just totally amazing. Totally amazing. Oh yeah, I was out there, Kimberly, for a hurricane. Michael, I think it was. This is 2017, something like that, 16, 17. Oh, crazy, crazy traffic. But, what is it? Probably over 6 million people. How many people are living there? I know it was 5 million what was back when I was doing it. So let's see. Let's see how many people live in there now. And probably someone else will be able to tell me this better than I can. But I'm going to. Oh, and if you guys don't use ChatGPT, oh my, you guys are not there. So, population, let's see. Come on, type. What's up with this stupid thing? Thing was a little slow on the ball here. Population of Greater Houston, Texas. I just put that in ChatGPT and let's see what it says. It seems like I can't do any more browsing right now. I've never had that answer before. It's telling me it's too busy. Let's do this. I haven't had enough information. But that ChatGPT really does answer some pretty amazing things. All right, as of recent estimates, the population of the greater Houston metropolitan area is approximately 7.2 million people. This includes the city of Houston and surrounding suburbs and counties, making it one of the largest metropolitan areas in the United States. The population of Houston itself is 2.3 million people. Houston is huge. And you're wondering why there's trouble with traffic. All right, the region continues to experience significant growth driven by factors like economic opportunities, diverse industries, and migration patterns. So ChatGPT, man, if you're not using it, ChatGPT gives you the most amazing information with just one sentence. What is the population of Houston, Texas? And they just give you this whole paragraph of amazing information. So if you're not using it, I use it probably more than I should. No, the reason why I use it is because it really does help me to think of different ways to word things, or not only do I use it for questions and answers, but I use it for help in getting kind of clarifying things for me to make sense. So if I have a sentence and I feel like I'm not quite explaining that well enough, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste the sentence in, and I say, please explain this as if a 6-year-old was trying to understand it. And surprisingly enough, that explanation is extremely handy when it comes to just giving the basics of something that is complicated and you're trying to make it simple. Is giving the command to pretend like you're a 6-year-old and explain this sentence so you can understand it. And it comes back great. And the flip side is maybe you write a sentence that's too basic and say, make this sentence a little more complicated as if an engineer is reading it. And it'll come out pretty intense with grammar, the grammar being, high level and using some really big words. So anyways, it's kind of cool. I like using GPT because it is very helpful. So let's see, what else can we talk about? Slow season for me here is going on right now. So we are definitely hitting the slow season for us. Thanksgiving's over, so we're doing a whole lot better. Now Thanksgiving's over, but we are creeping into Christmas time, and so what happened is people just won't call in insurance claims because they don't want somebody in their house snooping around their house, seeing all their Christmas presents. And so what you'll see is the claims typically around this time of year are going to be slower. That's just the nature of the business. Okay, so what I would recommend is that you have other ways of building income on the side in any way, whether it's a Shopify store or you have a side business cutting lawns, or maybe you sell maybe you write books and you can sell downloads online, or I don't know, there's just all sorts of things that you can do to bring types of income in that don't cost necessarily a lot of money to create. And the reason why I tell you this is because there are definitely slow times in this business, and you need to be able to prepare yourself for those slow times. I see too many adjusters that drop off of being an adjuster because they say, hey, I wasn't working for like 3 weeks and I can't afford it without getting a paycheck. And I totally get it. But what you want to do is you want to bust your tail and get in, all the rosters you can. And I say between 30 and 40 rosters, looking for work and telling all these people, I need work, I need work, I need work. And you're calling them and bugging them and keeping track of who you're talking to, and you're repeat calling them every week. And you will find that you'll get the attention of somebody, and then they will give you some work. Now, it may only be 1 or 2 claims a month from that firm, because they're small firms, or it may be 1 a week or something like that. But then what will happen is, as you have acquired more and more of those firms, 10 firms giving you 1 claim a week. And all of a sudden you've got 10 claims a week, which is a fantastic living, guys. If you get 10 claims a week and you get consistently claims a week, you can make very good money as a fee adjuster. So it's just something you got to think about. You either want to pursue lots of carriers, lots of firms, and get on lots of rosters while you're starting, so that you can get lots of work, even if it's 1 or 2 claims a month, from lots of different people, and it will add up. That's how I got started. I was working, I think, 7 or 8 different firms when I first started, and some of them were giving me 2 or 3, others were giving me a little bit more. But it was small at first, maybe 6 claims a week or 5 or something like that, and then all of a sudden I started turning in a really good product, and then I started getting more. And then it really picked up. And so then what happened is I was able then to selectively choose to who I was going to work with based on the volume of claims that they were willing to give me. So if I found a carrier that was giving me lots, and that firm was giving me lots for a specific carrier, I might contact another firm and say, I'm kind of getting busy. You're only giving me 2 or 3 a week, or 2 or 3 a month, or whatever it happens to be. I hate to say this, but I was wondering, I probably can't handle the claims that you're giving me at this time. And you can just say, well, Mayor, I can handle them, but at this point in time, I feel like I'm just getting a little bit too busy to handle this carrier. And they hear it all the time, and so they're going to be understanding. And so, but you don't want to burn at all. You don't want to talk badly to them, say, hey, you don't pay enough, blah, 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 I don't like your manager, I don't like your file reviewer. No, you don't want to do anything like that, because you don't know if later you need to pull them back in and you need to get work from them. Or they pick up a new carrier and they got a ton of work, and you just burn your bridges and can't work for them again. So burning your bridges in this is massive, guys. You just don't want to do that. Hey, thanks for coming, Max. Maxo Power. Is that how you say it? Welcome. Glad you could join me. Yeah, so cool. So yeah, definitely don't want to burn your bridges. You definitely want to get onto as many rosters as you can at the start to find work, and you will find yourself getting busier and busier as their product. You're turning in a good product. You're turning it in on time, and you will start to see repeat business. They'll start using you. Now, remember, on the flip side, you've got other adjusters that may be working for them as well. But if you're turning in a better product and your file reviewers are very happy with your product, they're talking to their managers, they have weekly meetings, and they're saying, hey, this new guy you brought in, he's doing a really great job, or this new gal, she's nice, clean estimate, doing a great job. we might want to steer more claims towards that person because it's making our jobs a lot easier on the file review side. This other adjuster, you know, there's constant corrections, he's leaving stuff out, blah, blah, blah. So that's how they make decisions in the firm about who's going to be their primary person that they're going to be assigning claims to. And trust me, they have primary people in every state for every carrier, for every firm. And they just say, hey, first going to him, you know, we'll give him a bunch or her a bunch. And then once they get 5, we'll give this person 1. And then we'll give him 5, we'll give him 1. And we'll give him 5, we'll give him 1. However it works, that's how it works. And the reason I know this is I've lived in areas where there were 2 adjusters and that other adjuster was calling me up saying, are you getting any work from so-and-so? And I'm like, a little bit. You know, I never want to tell them I'm getting a bunch because that's kind of private and you don't want to hurt their feelings. Well, I'm just not getting anything at all. And, you know, I had 1 a month, you know, from that person. I go, well, you know, I would say, hey, why don't you get on some more rosters then? Best thing to do is sign up for some more. Yeah, you're right, do that. And that would be the end of the conversation. But it could be that you are the primary adjuster and the reason why he's not getting any work is his product is maybe not so good. And they're looking at, hey, we want a person who's going to make the estimates mean, file reviewers work less, and they're going to get everything turned in exactly when they're supposed to. That's how you're going to repeat your work, and you're going to get more and more work. So just keep that in mind. Arslan Afrid, I am so cute. Oh my gosh, all the people who are so hot and beautiful, they're so far from me. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but hey, it is what it is. We get people in here. I don't know why they're coming in here to talk about that, but hey, I guess I'm cute. So anything else for you guys? Any other questions about what to do in this slow time right now? What are you guys doing for extra work? Do you have side jobs? Do you have other things that you're doing? Maybe Kimberly, are you working on still realty? Thank you. I'm just from Russia. Oh, you're from Russia. Cool. Yeah. No, cool. Very cool. Work in medical. Okay. Are you doing any type of medical insurance, or is it just that's the field you're working in now and you're looking into insurance adjusting? Okay, Kimberly, you're a retired realtor. Yeah. Realty's hard. I know a lot of people that do realty and they struggled. They struggled because I think either there's a lot of driving, there's nighttime work, there's weekend work. It's not good for a family. It's really hard. Truck driver, oil field, Peyton, very cool. Yes, yeah, there's truck driving jobs to do in the extra off seasons. All right, Arslan, I don't think that you are here for us. Let's see. Alrighty. Medical help distant remote. Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah, so what I would recommend is try and get your mentality at a little different than I know it's hard to do, and this is something I want you guys to think about. It's kind of out of the norm that we weren't taught this in school. I wasn't taught in school. I was taught to be a good employee. Okay, good worker, put in your time, your 40 hours a week, get your vacations, your weekends, and everything's gonna be great. And good. Kimberly, I'm so glad you got licensed. This is a good start. Yak Vamban. Yes, I do believe in Jesus. I think somebody asked me that before. Yes, absolutely, I sure do. So it is sometimes difficult if you're brought up in the employment mentality, meaning somebody says, hey, come work for me, we'll pay you a certain amount of money, and you put in your job and do your work, and you'll get your 3% per year or whatever. And I just look at it like, that's how we were all taught. we were all taught that because that's what the government wants us to do. And they want us to put in our time, they want to pay our taxes, to be quiet and keep doing it. I kind of learned a long time ago I was not a good employee. And the reason being is that every job, you would never believe this, but every job I went into, I was frustrated because I didn't want to listen to the person that was telling me anything. I was not a good follower of instructions, and I wanted to do it my way. And so I really failed as an employee, and I kept moving from job to job. And I used to remember having these conversations with my parents when I was a teenager and saying, they just don't understand me. I don't like working for him. He's a jerk. That boss was a jerk. He doesn't understand me. And so I would quit after a couple months and then go to the next job, and I was having the same problem. So literally was moving to new jobs every 2 months. And I kept blaming the managers or blaming the other people, the employees. I got in a fight with somebody, whatever. Not physical, but more like argument. And I never quite could figure it out that really it was because I was an entrepreneur in heart. Entrepreneur, just somebody who felt like, hey, I can do this and I can do it better, or I can do it my way, or I want to be the boss. And I struggled through high school, I struggled through college, trying to figure out what I was good at. But then I realized I got moved into the carpentry business a long time ago, not really because I was good at carpentry. I never touched a saw or a hammer or anything like that. And here I am, 22 years old, and I needed to find a job. And my mom was working as a secretary for a construction firm at that time. And she said, why don't you come over for this company, seem like a good company, and you can learn some carpentry skills. I was, whatever. They were paying a little higher than normal. I think back then it was like $15 an hour, which was way more than I was making. I think the average job back then was like $8 or $9 an hour. So as a carpenter, at 15, I was like, man, I could do that. That's pretty cool. And I fell in love with it. And here's the thing. So I was an employee making that money, but I really enjoyed work. I liked learning stuff. Loved hands-on creativity of things, and did that for about a year and a half. And what happened was 2 of the guys that I was working with were going out on their own. And my mom said, oh, these guys are like some of the best carpenters we know in this business. I can't believe they're going out on their own. Maybe you could talk to them and see if they'd let you tag along. And so I did. I went over and talked to them, and I said, wouldn't mind if you pay me the same I was learning, or same I was making. I'd come work for you. And then, it was a smaller group. I got along with the guys really well, so what was really cool is that I started doing a lot of jobs on my own, meaning they would leave me alone. And so instead of being in this big business, there were tons of carpenters, and we were always like 2 or 3 of us on a job site working. When I went to the smaller group, I ended up being just me on the job site, where other 2 guys would go work on something else. And it might be hanging crown or putting baseboard in a room or whatever it happened to be. Nothing too deep. But what happened was I started to feel really good, like, hey, I'm out on my own, I got my thing, nobody's watching over me, I'm really enjoying this. And so I started to thrive. And so when my bosses would come back and they'd see the work done, and I was done in record time, they started to see that I had a different mindset of working than the average person they knew. And so giving me more and more responsibility. And then what was really funny is that I got some of these job sites, and some of the people were soliciting me for extra work on the sides and on the weekends, and saying, hey, this guy's really charging this, but what would you charge to do it on the side? And, I didn't know too much conflict of interest or anything like that, or stealing work from somebody else. I said, well, hey, they don't want to hire, they don't want to hire these guys to do it, but I could do it for $40 or $50 on the side, and I could do it in an hour. So I could then make $40 an hour, make them buy the materials or whatever it was, and put ground up in another room or whatever it was, and do it in an hour and make $40. So I felt like I started being kind of self-employed at that point on side jobs. And I started to get more of those. And that person was referring me to friends and family and all this, and it started to kind of branch out. Well, eventually, it got to the point where I started having remodels for bathrooms, questions for kitchen cabinets, bookcases, all these different things that I had been building But now I started getting some bigger projects that people were wanting to do online, and I knew I couldn't do it in my spare time because I was still working full time for this guy. So I took the big leap and quit that and on my own working as a self-employed carpenter, working for all these other people. And it was hard. Definitely I had to bust my tail and a lot harder because now I'm having to find work, handle all the billing and paperwork, and then do the work too, as well as before just do it. So I found some really great skills about being self-employed, but what I did, guys and gals, is that they gave me the mindset, like the harder I work, the more I make, the more successful I become. And that mentality started at a very basic age of carpentry, probably 23, 24 years old, realizing that the harder I worked, the more I could make. That's a different mentality than the employee mentality of today. Because no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you succeed, no matter how much you put in, you're going to be paid the same as the person sitting next to you doing half the work. And I know you guys see this all the time. If you're working in a business somewhere or working with other people, is you know who the lazy people are. You know the people who are doing the smoking 2 hours, and they're constantly taking advantage of the system and get paid probably about the same, or if not a little bit more than you sometimes. And you're frustrated because you're like, no matter how much effort I put in, that boss is not going to recognize you. They're not going to pay you more, and you're stuck in this dead end scenario. So what I wanted to do is encourage you guys that an independent adjuster is basically saying, I don't want to be an employee anymore. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to do my own thing. I want to create this business to be self-employed, self-starting, self-motivating, driven. I'm going to find the work. I'm going to do the best job I can, and I'm going to get paid well to do it. And that mentality is not employee mindset at all. It's a totally different. It's when you start to put pride in your work, your product, then other people will recognize that automatically. So think about it in the respect, like if you have a firm and they're hiring you as an independent adjuster, and so they've got this list, this roster of hundreds and hundreds of people that want to come and work for them in their firm. And you have to remember, you make a lot of money if you get a lot of work from these people. So their purpose when they're looking for somebody is looking for somebody responsible. Somebody who's going to do the job, not have to be babysat. They don't want to monitor you. They don't want to look at you and follow up with you and say, why didn't you call this person? Why didn't you set the appointment like you were supposed to? Not turn in your estimate on the same day that you inspected it. They don't want to watch and look over your shoulder for all these things that do come up when you are an independent adjuster. They want somebody that is going to do these things without them having to tell them, and they're going to repeat them over and over again, year after year and month after month, without hesitation. And the reason they do this is because it makes their job easier. They're still making 40% of your paycheck, but if they can get away with doing less work for that 40%, and all of a sudden you start to look really good to them. Now, yes, it's a bump that they take 40%. That's just across the board. Every firm is doing that. Some are taking less. Some are taking 35. Some are taking 30. On some catastrophe events, they'll take 30. Those are the good ones to find. It's not always the case, but sometimes those are good to find. So by doing that, if you can ease that firm's mind by, first of all, doing exactly what you say, you're being consistent, you're turning in a good product, you're helping your file reviewers not spend a whole lot of time on your file. They enjoy working for you, meaning they love reviewing your files. Like I have file reviewers that contact me and say, I just love it when I see your file and your name come into my desk. It just means that it's going to be an easy one. And, you know, it was funny, I kind of plugged one of the file reviewers recently because I was on catastrophe with her. And she just said, it's just been a joy to work with you on this catastrophe. She said, your files are great, and it's just been a breeze. And I just love it. I love working with you, and you just turn in such a good product, and you make my job easier. Well, think about it. She's making money to review that file. And if I've made her job easier, then she likes me. Well, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to tell her manager, Daniel's doing a great job. I love it. We enjoyed working with each other on the catastrophe. Can you make sure he comes on that one? Because it was just wonderful. It was just a great event. And so I'm sure that's what will be talked about, because these file reviewers do have quarterly meetings with their bosses of the firms, and they talk about what are the most common mistakes that are happening on the file reviews. Like, what are people missing? What are some of the errors that you keep repeating back? And then who are the good ones and who are the bad ones? They talk about this, guys. Why it's really important for you to understand that it's not just about you. It's about you, it's about your file reviewer, and it's about the carrier. And as long as you're treating everybody right and you're doing a great job, and you're doing it with a passion in your heart, like I really want to do a good job, and you have that, then it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back positively in the long run, and it's going to bless you. And then what'll happen, and this is, I've seen this happen, some of the managers that work for one firm move to another firm. Just they're looking for promotions too. They're working their way up the ladder, corporate ladder as well. They're trying to become possibly even their own firm. And when they go to the new firm, they remember you, and they will somehow sneakily try to get you an email and say, hey, I just want to let you know, I moved over to this new firm, just wanted to let you know. And that's all they can say. They can't say, would you like to come over and work for me? Because that's a conflict of interest. But I had several of them say, I just wanted to let you know where I am. If you're wondering where I went, here's where I am. And in other words, please get on our roster so we can use you for this firm. So that's what they're trying to do, and that's because they enjoy working with you, and they don't want to hold back their career if they're moving to a new career, but they certainly like you as an adjuster who they want to follow them around and make their job easier too. So that's the self-employment mentality that you've got to get yourself into this mode, if to be successful in this business, is you've got to put the focus on your product, the people you come in contact with, meaning, hey, if I go to an insured's house or if I'm on the phone with somebody, everything is top-notch, it's kind, it's passionate, it's caring, it's thorough, it's reassuring, and so that every one of these people feel like I've just been represented well, this person really represented my carrier, because you gotta remember, they don't know we're independent. They don't know what that means as independent. They think we are the employee of the insurance company. They still do. And so they'll thank me and they'll say, oh, I'm so glad I had this insurance company. It's been so great. I've had you guys for so long. And it's just so nice to meet nice people that work for the insurance company. Meanwhile, I don't work for the insurance company. I work for me. But we're pretending like we work for them as an independent. But it's so nice to hear those positive comments that you've made somebody feel special, as handling their claim, and you're thorough and you've returned their phone calls. And in fact, more than likely, you'll get a better reputation than the desk adjusters will, because they're swamped with hundreds and hundreds of files, and we may only have 20 or 30. So when the insured calls us and we call them right back, they're pretty amazed. They're like, wow, you called me right back. Or you answered the phone as soon as I called. Whereas if they've called the desk adjuster, they may have called them 3 times, left messages, but that desk adjuster is getting 100 voicemails every day they've got to try and return. And they're not so eager or capable even to get to every single person within a day. So you'll see a lot of that. Like they'll say, hey, I had the desk adjuster 3 times and they didn't call. I decided to give you a call. I'll get the call, pick up on the first time, or call them right back, and they'll go, I can't believe I got you. I've been calling the desk adjuster for 3 days and I can't get them. And they have a simple question, like, well, do you know when I'm going to hear from them? And I'll look in the file, and there might be some that say, hey, they just received it. Might be a couple, 3 days or whatever before they get to you. But yeah, it looks like they're right in queue to really get to you. You got to remember, there's a huge pile of files they're having to go through before they get to your pile. Well, people like to hear the status of something rather than just sitting there at their home going, when are they going to call? I've been waiting for 2 weeks and they haven't called me. Well, in the last few months, we had a hurricane, 2 hurricanes on the East Coast and the South Coast. That has made a lot of people very, very busy. And so if you can explain this to the insured and say, hey, I know you're anxious, but do you remember that huge hurricane that happened over there in North Carolina? Flooded this whole place, made Asheville kind of like disappear. Do you remember the hurricane that hit Florida twice? So you can kind of remind them, even though you're sitting in North Carolina or wherever and there's nothing going on here, that insurance company is nationwide, handling all sorts of things from all over the place. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So they may be a little busy, but I'm going to get back to you as soon as they can. That's a great reassurance to an insured that their insurance company still cares about them. All right, so a few questions. So, Daniel, you're an interesting man, but do you enjoy your life and your job? Why would I not be honest? You're talking to a guy who's always honest. So, I'm an insurance adjuster. I'm always honest. I love my job. Absolutely love my job. In fact, I've had several people that I've been chatting with online because I'm back in the dating world again. And the question they asked me is they said, when do you want to retire? Because I'm 57, and they're like, you're coming up on retirement. And I'm like, I'm going to retire. Why would I retire? To sit around and do nothing and be bored to tears and watch my savings account dwindle as I sit around and do nothing, do something and spend it all or whatever. And then I told them, I said, I love my job, and I want to do this until I die. As long as I can climb a roof, I'm going to be climbing a roof. And if I can't climb a roof, I'm going to be walking to people's houses, on their doors, and talking to them. And if I get tired of doing that, then I'm going to go find something else in the insurance world to do. Because I love insurance. It's about helping people. And it's a very fulfilling job. And it's extremely high paying. Once you are successful in this, you are doing very well financially, probably better than 75 to 80% of the world. You are making very, very good money. And who wouldn't want that job? Like, you quit, and then all of a sudden you're going to live on whatever savings you have or whatever investments you have. And that's going to be a less standard of living than what you were living with when you were working. So I kind of look at it like, yeah, I might cut my hours back, or maybe I'll only do catastrophe work and work 3 or 4 times a year or something like that and go on these events. Maybe not work full time all the time, but I'm still going to be doing this as long as I can do it. It's a job I absolutely love, and that's the truth. What are macros? Brian, good question, and why are they important? New to my channel. Brian, thanks for joining me. Absolutely, please follow my channel. You will find lots of information about macros. So let me explain macros in a very simple way that you can understand. Think about when you walk into a room, and let's say it's a bedroom, and you had to start listing all the items that are in that room that went into creating a bedroom. Okay, simple things. Okay, you've got the framing on the walls, possibly insulation on the exterior wall. You've got drywall. All this before we can go to drywall. We've got electrical. Okay, we got all those electrical. We might even have a few plumbing lines that actually go wall as well that go to another bathroom or to an outside spigot. Then you've got your drywall. You got paint, baseboard. Then you've got pad, carpet pad, and you've got carpet. Now you have a door. You have a lock set. You have window trim, apron on the bottom, window casing around the outside, and you have blinds. On the closet, you might have shelving. So think about all of those items, okay? I probably didn't get them all. Then you got the outside outlet plates that go over top of the drywall once you finish painting, and the light fixtures, ceiling fan. So think about that. If you've got all these items. Now, walk into that same room, and now you have a fire that destroyed everything. The entire room is charred, meaning you can't tell hardly is anything even savable in that room anymore. So it's burnt. Okay, all the studs are damaged. The window glass is melted. All the trim's been, carpet's dried, soaking wet from the water, the drywall's all wet, falling down, insulation's all wet. Okay, so now you have to build an estimate for the damages that occurred in that room. A macro says bedroom, fire, total loss. That's my title. And then under that, I have saved all the individual line items for everything that went into that room. Everything I just mentioned, I just saved it all. And put them all into a line item, and they're saved under one title, bedroom, fire, total loss. So when I draw this square in Xactimate, meaning I draw a room, and I label it bedroom, and I put a door in, and I put the wall for the closet, and the window in, and all that other stuff. When I open up my macros, which are saved, all I have to do is click on the room that I'm highlighting, bedroom, and double click on the macro that says bedroom, total loss, fire, and all of those items, maybe 25 or 30 of them, all drop into that estimate in one click, one double click, and they're there. Now, I've already pre-done a lot of the items in this, meaning baseboard is the perimeter of the floor. So it's actually calculating whatever I do is the size of my room. The perimeter of the floor is the baseboard. It's the calculation that's in there under the baseboard. Now, that baseboard might be 3 1/4, but in your house, it's 4 1/4. So all I have to do is go in there, change it to B4 instead of B3, and all of a sudden now, I've got the new baseboard that's still got perimeter floor listed, but that's a small modification that I've had to do. The size of the window might have to be changed, the amount of light fixtures versus a ceiling fan, may have to edit that a little bit. But generally speaking, I can add in the entire room of items in a double click. And who wouldn't want that to create an estimate that quick when you have a whole entire house to create of that same damage potentially if it was entire loss. And so the macros are meant to speed up your estimate writing for things that you do over and over again. Same thing goes for a roof. I create and draw the roof in Sketch, and then I take the macro that says 30-year lamp shingle replace, double click on it, and all the items that potentially could be on a roof for a 30-year roof, vents, ridge vent, all the different types of vents that potentially could be there, the type of shingle, all of that is in that macro. I drop it right on the roof, and all of a sudden I've practically written the entire roof. And the only thing I have to change is how many vents are in that roof. How many vents, how many vent pipes, how many goosenecks, how many turbine vents, how many HVAC vents. All the things are listed, but I just need to change the number of how many are on there, or one satellite dish versus none. I just delete out the satellite dish. So you can go and find each individual item if you want from the estimate, but it is going to take you an enormous amount of time to do it. Not to mention that if you weren't brought up in the construction industry or roofing industry or whatever, or you weren't laying tile or all these different things, you don't know all the items that potentially will be needed to create, like to replace an entire shower in a master bathroom. Well, it sure would be nice if you could say, oh, Daniel's macros have listed full shower with glass. You know, and you click it, and every item for a tile bathroom with glass surround, or a tile shower with glass surround, has every possible item in it. Whether it's a bench seat, or an in-wall soap dish, or decorative trim molding around the edges, or if it's half-inch glass versus quarter-inch glass, or a 3/8 glass. If it's tempered, you know, it's all tempered glass, but if it was frameless or framed, there's all different ways to do this bathroom. But you can save the macro specifically for each scenario you would come up with, and then just drop it into your estimate when you're doing it. You can create macros of any combination of items in the future. But what I did is I created about 400, a little over 400 of them, and put them into a pack that you could download and import them into your Xactimate software. And you'll be amazed how easy it is to write estimates that day forward. There for sale. Look in the description if you're interested. It's just a way to it's just a way to write estimates super fast. I would never write an estimate in the future without macros. It's just not smart. It's not saving. You have to memorize every line item. You have to remember every code for every item. Why not just do a macro and be able to drop and click it in there, and you don't have to. And here's the thing: there's a lot of carriers that have very specific details about how they handle certain items in their estimates regarding how they drywall, how much, like, do they paint the entire room when they do a repair? Only paint the room the one wall that was damaged. Lots of things different for every carrier. So I save those based on different carrier recommendations so that I know if I'm working a Progressive or working a Horace Mann or working Universal, they all have different ways of doing repairs for drywall, and it's nice to say that. And the reason why this is important is there will be file reviews or errors in the estimate if you do it wrong. Meaning if you can't remember every detail that carrier does specifically for drywall, I just save it in the macro so that I know, oh yeah, this is the one that does this. So that if it's maybe 5 days between claims from one, handling that carrier, you may have forgot that specific detail. Well, now it's in the macro and helps you remember. So just macros are the bomb. Absolutely. Oh, we got some more Russia people. Very cool. There's lots of Russia people in here today. That's great. Great, great, great. Welcome, welcome. All right, so any other questions for you guys? Now, we were talking about the level 1 and level 2 certification prep course. The link is at the top of this conversation here. You look at the top left, right there, top left, top right, whatever you want to do. That link right there will get you to the course that you can purchase from me. It's 9 videos, about an hour to a half on some videos. Some are a little bit shorter than that, teaching you how to get level 1 certification. So this is just level 1. I'm in the process of making level 2, and that'll come shortly. But this will get you started. It's $99 a month to let you have full access to those movies. You should be able to pass the test in 1 month if you apply yourself. Don't hesitate to pick that up, because that is going to help you pass that exam, and it's definitely needed. Missouri City, Texas, Eugene. Because I know exactly where that was. I lived in Sugar Land, so I know exactly where Missouri City is. And from Mississippi, Donald, very cool. Very cool. Yes, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Donald Davis, very cool. I love when people use their name. Kimberly Houston White. I love it. So, yeah, so when you guys use your names, it's so much easier than SLK. Don't know who SLK is. So, Viva Putin. I don't think so. No, I don't think we like Putin. Let's see. All righty. So, any other questions for you guys? Anything else at all? Those are bots. Are they bots? Oh, wow, interesting. Why would bots be coming to my channel? I'm not famous. Yes, macros will make your job so much easier. You're right. I mean, the amount of time that I save using macros is unbelievable. They ask me all the time. They say, how long does it take you to write a roof estimate? And basically, I say, well, I mean, the report writing takes forever. But as far as drawing, if I have to draw the roof, it's about 15 minutes to draw the roof. And it depends. If it's really difficult, it might take me 20 or 30, depending on if I got lots of roof lines. About 15 minutes is pretty typical. Writing an estimate, 10 minutes or less. I can write a roof estimate. So that's what I've sped up to. And that doesn't really matter what roof it is. It's, 20, 25 minutes tops to draw and estimate the roof. And then to write the reports, about 30 minutes or so. Labeling photos, 10 minutes, something like that, for about 60 photos. So yeah, you just got to get to the point where you can estimate in about an hour to an hour and a half, and you're going to be rolling. All right, I mentioned cyber adjusting. Have you ever heard about it? Cyber adjusting? No, I have not. I have not. Georgia just signed up to take. You're from Atlanta. Okay, Brian, cool. Just Signed up to take online classes. I'm going to change careers. 23 years as a heavy haul truck driver. Channel great help. Awesome. Brian, thanks for joining me. I've actually had several consultation calls with people who have redid their job. A couple police officers have actually done consultation calls with me where we talk about where to go. And I'm like, man, you're this perfect career, meaning you already know how to speak with people, you already know how to interact with people. That's such a big bonus in this business. And so it's just a matter of, learning to get the job done, learning the skills, and you'll be very well. What's great is if you don't want to climb roofs, you don't have to. You can be a flood adjuster. You can just do water claims. You can sit at a desk if you wanted to and be an auto adjuster or a desk adjuster of any sort. You can do medical if you happen to have a medical background. So you can certainly work in, work comp or general liability stuff. You can do chiropractor conversations with medical benefits for car wrecks. There's lots and lots of different types of insurance. You can do boats, you can do crops, meaning if you're a farm guy and you know tons and tons of stuff about the cost of goods and what it takes to yield farm crops. Well, tornadoes tear up crops every year. Hurricanes tear up crops. And so we got to go out there and measure the square footage of crops that are damaged and find out what the yield is of crops. A lot of times it's bid, but this is all part of the research that's involved with reimbursing that person for the damages that were caused by weather. So, but there's so many different types of careers in insurance, like scene investigation. I've done several of those. You have to go out to a crash site or a truck has fallen over, and all their material has bashed all over the side of the road and all over the road, and you've got to get their manifest and find out how much material they lost, and that's part of the claim. And then potentially, then you got to deal with how much did the truck guy or the tow truck guy charge to pull that truck back up again, and how many trucks did it take to pull that guy back up again? He flipped over, and then how much damage was done to the truck? I'm going to get some estimates for that. So there's a ton of different insurance that's really cool that you could be doing. They did. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Valdez oil spill. I actually got a taste of that as far as claim adjusting a long time ago when some of my friends were being deployed to that, and I didn't know what they were doing. They were handling insurance claims for boats that were damaged, their fishing losses because they could no longer go fish when there was oil everywhere, and their boats damaged. Their livelihood was affected by the oil that was floating from this big oil tanker that spilled and was coming in and ruining their boats and all their gear that was inshore and killing all these animals. And their fishing business was dramatically affected. Well, those are all insurance claims. It's called loss of use. That is part of us calculating how we reimburse them for the loss of business expenses that were lost or equipment that was lost. So very fascinating work in the insurance. It's a new thing with companies taking losses with hacking. Interesting. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, you've got ransomware and all sorts of things that people are doing. Absolutely. Question here about how hard would it be to start adjusting in January? Well, Eugene, it all depends on your skill level and where you are in your journey to being an adjuster. So that's kind of a loaded question. So tell me a little bit if you have any experience. Do you have licenses? Do you have any certifications for specific insurance carriers that you're working with or thought about working for? Some of these insurance companies require you to have a certification to work for them or to handle any things. So that's all part of the question that you... But as far as you, Brian, you've got a great opportunity. Anyone can do this job. It's just transition, just like anybody else. I tell people you got to give it a couple of years. There's 2 years of tough going, meaning you got to be putting in a ton of effort in those 2 years. It's probably no different, Kimberly, than your real estate license work, is that you've got to really put in the grind for a period of time in order to, before your client base starts building up or before your skill level starts building up, in order for this to be successful. And I think too many people quit before they succeed. I've seen it. I've sat with people in in desk adjuster situations. I've met people locally. Met them at a conference, and a lot of those people we stayed in contact with texting, and then I find out they drop out. It doesn't make sense to me. I guess to them it wasn't worth it, worth the effort, but they were they had a taste of what the money was, it was very money for them, and they felt like they just didn't want to pursue it, so they let it slide. Now, it's interesting, I'm staying in touch with a good friend of mine from the deployment, from one of my very first deployments. We've stayed in contact for an entire 11 years that we knew each other, or 10 years since we've known each other. And there, have happened in his life where he's regretted, made some mistakes or related mistakes, whatever. But he always keeps coming back to adjusting. And I think the whole point is he knows it's good. He knows it's a good living. He knows he can make some good money. And so he keeps coming back. And I'm really proud of him for doing that, because it's hard. It's hard to keep pursuing something that hasn't paid off as well as you'd hoped to. Or there's been a lot of setbacks, whether it be family issues, health issues, marriage issues, all sorts of things that throw people curves all the time, children issues, and it can really be distracting. So to stay focused and do a good job always, it's really hard. But you got to do it. You got to see the worth of it. The worth of it is that this can be a really lucrative career. It can be very freeing. It can be very nice to sit at home and work from home with no boss staring over your head, nobody calling, nobody monitoring you. You're just doing your job, and as long as you do your job, then you might get a call every couple months, and they're just calling to say hello, to let you know that they're still there if you ever need anything. And I think that's just wonderful. It fits my personality so perfectly, because I don't like being overseen. I don't like people watching over me. I don't like people telling me how to do my job. I like to be left alone. I like to be doing my thing, doing it the best I can do it, and people leave me alone. And I love it. That's just who I am. That's me. So if that's even somewhat relates to any of you guys out there, guys and gals, it's just it's such a freeing position to be in. That you love your job, you love the people that you come in contact with, you're helping people every day, you're getting told all the time how wonderful you are, because you're doing a good job. And so people are getting their money, they're being treated well by the insurance company, they're getting whatever fears or problems that occurred in their house, whether it be, the flood that happened in their house because their pipe burst, and now you're solving that problem for them. So you make a lot of really good friends, and people just hear the best in the world when you solve their problems. But if you have a bad attitude and you're rude and you don't return their calls, and on the flip side, they're going to be mad at you, and you're not going to get a good reputation with that person. They're going to report you possibly to their agent, or possibly to the carrier, the claims department, and you're going to get a bad phone call that you're not going to want to have because you're not doing a good job. That you only have to have that happen just a few times, and you'll be like, I don't ever want that to happen again, because that was nasty. Whether it's through a person that exaggerated their problems and made you out to be this person in the world that you're really not, or some of it was actually true. So, yeah, you get that call once, and you're gonna be like, I don't want that again. So, our job is to do the best we can and make it work, and you'll be rewarded for it if you do it. All right, Brian, doing on social media, how to match for a consultation. Okay, if you look in this video, you get done, you'll be able to look at the description of the video. I have a link there that's for consultation. And it's for 1 hour to talk to me on the phone or on video, whatever one you choose, same price. And we'll just talk specifically about your situation and how we can make it better and how we can make a path towards getting you into this career. And it's very specialized, so that's why I feel like everyone that I've talked with has been really pleased with the consultation, because it's geared towards your specific problems and needs and not generic. And that's what I try and do on the lives, is kind of talking generically to everybody. But everybody's situation is different, and you're at a different place. You might be still wanting to work part-time while you're doing this, which I recommend. Okay? Recommend while you're getting started to go through your training, or even work full-time and still do your training, do your certifications in your free time on weekends. Don't give up your day job until you can replenish it with other work. And here's a perfect, okay, so I had a guy one time and he was like, well, tell me how I could do this. And he was working full time at a job. And I said, well, follow my path. I told him, get these certifications, get these licenses, get your preparation for the job, get on all these rosters. You're basically telling them you want to work. So you have to be ready. Your resume has to look good. You have to have all these things in place, and you have to be ready for that person to call you. So then he calls me up and he says, oh, I got a call. And they said they want me to start handling claims in this area for them. And I said, well, congratulations. I said, don't quit your job. And he goes, why? And I said, because you have no idea how much they're going to give you. He said, it may only be one claim a week, and you can't live on that. Oh, good idea, So that was really good. He didn't quit his job. Anyway, so what he did is he said, they started me out with one claim, and then they gave me another one. And he said, what was really cool is that I made an appointment to inspect the house after I got off work. And so he said at like 5:30, whatever, I was inspecting the house. And then I came home and I wrote the claim. And I turned it in. I worked late into the night. And he said, but I turned it in at 10:30 at night. And it was done. And the next day I scheduled another one, same thing, after I was done work. And then I turned it in again, 10:30 at night. And he was so proud of himself because he said, you wouldn't believe it. He said, I was able to do this with my full-time job. Yeah, I was a little tired, but he said the adrenaline was pretty cool. I was really excited, and I felt like I was building my career. Well, anyway, so what happened was he ended up getting more claims than he could handle, one per day, and so he ended up having to schedule a lot on Saturday. So he would do 3 on Saturday. So here he is, he's doing 5 a week and 3 on weekends. And so he writes me back and he says, Daniel, he says, I got 8 claims this week. That's more than I'm making in my day job. And I said, that's totally fantastic. I said, but just, still don't quit your day job yet. If you can still do it, then you're getting bonus. You're making double pay here. But what you want to do is, I said, you want to see that continually happens before you give up your job. And he goes, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I said, what if next week I don't have any? So he was killing himself for 2 or 3 weeks, and he calls me back and he says, Daniel, he says, I think I have a job. He said, I'm getting so busy, I'm getting more, and I'm having to put these people off, 4 or 5 days before I can inspect them because I can still only do 1 after work. And he says, I'm working 3 on Saturday, and I'm working Sunday too. And he says, this is getting crazy. And I said, well, that's exactly when you know it's time to transition to full-time work as an adjuster. And then you can start soliciting even more work to the adjusting world after you quit your job. So I said, yeah, give you 2-week notice at your job and, and start ramping up, calling some more firms and see if you can get some more work. Well, sure enough, he's doing great. And he's full-time in it and he's loving it. And he said, he calls me back every once in a while and lets me know how things are going. And he's doing great. He's business. So that was about 5 years ago. So yeah, so there's some great stories, as far as how the consulting calls could help, or just, like I was responding to them originally by email and by a couple chats that were going on in the video chat. So yeah, so I think I can help people out, but I feel like some people just want very specific instructions, and so that's why I offer the consultation call. But to kind of go back, the whole reason I was bringing up this video was talking about the level 1 and level 2 certification prep class. In order to be an adjuster, you're going to have to prove that you know how to use this software, Xactimate. Xactimate is the estimating software of this entire industry. Symbility is used, it's just not even close to the volume of claims that are through Xactimate. So if you're starting in this business, you are trying to prove to the firms that you are signing up for to try and get work that you know how to use the software. And Xactware has actually come up with a course and an exam, not a course, but an exam that says if you can pass this exam, we will then give you validation to say you know how to use the software. And that's where they say we're going to give you a level 1 certification. That's for beginning knowledge of Xactimate. A level 2 certification is going to be a medium, or I would say the most used of the software means you have a very good understanding of this software. And a level 3 certification means you are an expert or a trainer. And I don't think the level 3 is necessary, but level 1 and level 2 I think is absolutely necessary in order to be able to put on your resume to let firm know that you know how to use this software. If you don't have certification, you're basically, it's a crapshoot of whether that company is going to say, yeah, we'll give you claims, because they have no idea if you know how to use that software. If you have it on your resume, they are going to choose you over somebody who does not have it. So this course is solely designed to help you pass the course that is actually administered by the owners of it. So think about it for a minute. You've got a company who designed the software, and now they're saying, we're going to give you the test to prove whether you know how to use it or not. Okay? That's a hard test. It's a very thorough test, trust me. They're trying to make you fail, because they don't just give out that level 1, 2 certification class just for, for everybody. They want to know that you know how to use that software, so that's why they're going to give you that certification. So I have prepared this course. Right now it's just level 1, but I'm doing it to help you pass that test. It's basically a very thorough course describing the course, the product, like how to use the software, when you're going to use the software in many different situations while you're writing essays. And you're going to be able to use it practically. You're going to be able to understand the software very well. And you should be able to pass the course with just a little moderate additional study, probably from their suggested materials that they give you. So definitely check it out. The link is right at the top of this chat. It's also in the description. Click on it. It's $99 a month. You can pass this course in 1 month. I did, and I was not very good at it, but I did. And I also passed level 2 in 1 month. And I did take a course. So I think the courses are necessary. I think you will fail 100% of the time if you don't take a prep course. It's almost so complicated of a program that you will not succeed unless you take some kind of self-help or prep course. It's kind of if somebody dropped in Adobe Photoshop and said, yeah, we're going to exam once you're done to prove that you know how to use the software. That's a complicated software. So if somebody was going to give you an exam to say you could get Photoshop certified, yeah, I think I would fail. Even though I know how to use the program pretty good, I don't know it enough to pass an exam on it. So that's kind of the level of expertise you need to know this program for in order to get that level 1 and level 2 certification. So just keep that in mind. All right, so you guys have other questions? Feel free to pop those in. Otherwise, I'm going to probably pop off here in the next 10 minutes or so if I don't have more questions. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything, I'm happy to talk to you guys about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I've seen a lot popping in, popping out, so sounds like we've been having some good rotation of people taking a look at what we're talking about. Any other questions from anybody? Don't forget to hit the like button. I see 6 people have liked the video so far, so if you find anything encouraging or helpful, make sure you hit the like button. And there's also a super thanks somewhere in the video. I don't exactly know where they put it now. There's a super thanks button on YouTube that is for you to click if you like or dislike it. You can also join my channel. I've got a membership also for that if you want to. And I don't have a clue where the super thanks is. Maybe it's up in the, oh yeah, so down on the, if you look on your screen, right below all the comments, there is a happy face for emojis, and right next to it is a dollar bill. And it says, show your support for Daniel the Adjuster. If you click on that, you can put any amount of money in there that you feel like, from $1 to whatever, just as a thank you for the information that you've heard there. You don't have to. I'm just letting you know where it is. It certainly flags YouTube and lets them know that people liked it, and helps me in the rankings a little higher as well, especially for the likes. So any other questions from anybody? I'm so glad you guys joined me. We're going to do this every Sunday. Eastern time at 4 o'clock. So, Lord willing, if there hasn't been another hurricane, which I'm hoping there is, not in December, but I doubt we'll have another hurricane. I think maybe a winter storm. That's possible, but I don't know that I would go on a winter storm catastrophe. They're kind of miserable. Well, thank you, Kimberly. Very cool. All right, so memberships are really cool. We just have a little extra stuff in the background for members. Join the channel, you'll get updates before everybody else, and you'll get some valuable information. I do give away free stuff as well in my membership channel as well. So certainly consider that if you like my content, and keep coming back for more. Otherwise, guys, appreciate chatting on here with you guys, and look forward to talking to you guys and seeing you all. I'll remember your names if you come back next week. Absolutely, Kimberly. Now you know the time. You can be here next week and not miss it. And very good, Donald. I am very happy. And we will help you guys out to the best adjusters out there and make this a career that you will love for the rest of your life. It's life-changing, guys. I can't tell you enough. It's really good. I'm Curtis, and we'll see you guys next week, all right? Take care, everybody. See you soon.